Okay, so I wanted to jump in here and show you what I do in the morning to check in with my Heroic app. I know we went over how to set up the app yesterday. Hopefully you've taken care of that. And so you have some things in your Heroic app to work from. So let's head on over to Heroic. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay. Sorry, it's taking just a moment to get there. Okay, here we go. So I'm heading on over to my Heroic app, and that's where I am now. When it comes up, like right now, I'm watching the greatest year ever, and so I have that sort of on the bottom of my screen. Normally that wouldn't be there, but today's the day, right? We want to be a person who's choosing to do the things that are going to help us get where we want to go. I have my three identities, my big three identities for energy, work, and love. And I'm just going to go ahead and start with the first one, Amazon Warrior. And these are the virtues that I had selected previously were important to me. I don't have to choose all of them today, but today I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be calm. I'm going to be consistent, and I'm going to be zesty. I'm going to be Spartan ready, and I'm going to lock those virtues in. So throughout the day, I want to be thinking about, showing up as that strong, calm, consistent, zesty, Spartan ready person. Okay. And in order to do that, there are protocol. These are targets that I want to hit in order to be that person. I want to make sure I stay hydrated. And for me, that is 2 of these every day. For some people, it's more than that, but I found that's kind of my sweet spot. So I'm just going to tap on it, and that locks in that target. These top 3 are my top 3 targets: 1 sun salutation and 5,650 steps. If you want, you can reorganize these, and if you have more than 3, you can reorganize them, and that's by clicking edit. So I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to manage my targets, and I'm finding that last bite of food by 8 p.m. is actually a really important target for me. And the other really important target for me is this 30 minutes of activity. So I'm going to move that up. Okay, so it's just really the order that they're in. And so I'm making those my top targets, which means if I hit them today, then I've completed my day. And I can do these other things too, but at least, I've hit the stuff that's important to me. Okay, so I'm going to move myself out of the way. Okay, I'm going to go back. And now you'll see, okay, got it. I haven't committed to those, so I'm going to commit to them. Oh. That's interesting. So I'll have to look into why they didn't reorder, because I hadn't committed to them first. And so I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to do 11 burpees plus 8. So for me, that means I'm definitely committing to doing 11 burpees. But my goal is actually to add 1 every single day. I'm up to 10. I could edit that, but I know in my mind. So going to bed on time, digital sunset at 9 p.m., meditate, doing 1 pull-up plus 3, just the same as the burpees. It means that I'm doing at least 1 pull-up. Actually, I'm up to 5 total, but that's okay. Again, I can update that later. Taking my vitamin D and my iron, and I'm going to lock in those targets. So now you'll see that Amazon Warrior has a check, and I've done my virtues and my targets. That means, doesn't mean I've completed it. It's just what I'm committing to today. Again, you don't need to have that many targets. Pick 1 to 3, especially as you're getting started. right, so we're going to go to business leadership exemplar. I want to be connected. I want to be focused. I want to be in integrity. I would like to be analytical today, have clear boundaries, and learning. I'm going to lock those in. And now I go to the targets. So these are the actual tasks or activities. Number one, win. We'll talk about this later on in the program, but win stands for what's important now. So for me, that means staying focused on what is coming up that's important for me to handle instead of and not in a reactive way, but really actually that helps me remember not to be reactive, but to take from any situation what is important now and focus on that. So that is a really important target for me. I'm going to tap on that. Making an offer in my business, definitely important. And doing my morning check-ins with my clients. And so those are my top three. If I complete a heroic +1, that's great. I've added this read Slack notes to me. It's a target of mine. It basically means for me to go back and read the notes that I leave from myself. I've found that to be really helpful to keep me focused. I'm going to shut down complete by 5 p.m. That means that I end my workday by 5 p.m. and I do not let it linger into the night. So lock in those targets. And then I move on to my last one, queen. This is my love target. It means that I show up in my mind as the queen in my household. And this isn't in an overbearing way, but really understanding I'm taking care of my people this way. I'm going to be calm. You'll notice that came up twice, and I do that intentionally. I am going to be reliable. To me, that means that the times that my kids and my husband, they come to ask me for something, that I'm dependable, that they know if they ask, I will follow through. And again, sometimes I've let things slip through the cracks, so it's a good reminder for me. I'm present and listening. And I'm going to lock in those three virtues, and you see them come up. And then these are my number one targets, that I appreciate someone or something. That means when something happens, I say, wow, thank you. I really appreciate that you did this for me, or look at that beautiful sunrise, whatever it is. Make my bed, have phone-free connection. I complete my number one self-care. That allows me to show up for my people in the best way. And then eat challenge like an energy bar, another concept that you'll get to learn about. Big hug with someone. And then these are my appreciation messages to my family. I talked about those yesterday. I send a note each day to each person in my family to help them know how much I care about them. And it fills my cup and theirs. I've found a definite improvement in relationships here. Learning Japanese for 5 minutes. Reaching across the aisle is probably not something I'm going to get to today. Preparing the castle for guests is, and infusing love into the meals that I prepare. So you'll see that some of these targets are a little more unique. You can create your own targets. It says plus add a target. If there's targets you want to add to your list, you can, and I'm just going to lock in these 13 targets. Again, my recommendation in the beginning is 1 to 3, just one thing in each category to begin with. You may have things you're already doing. Go ahead and continue them. Maybe on your list is brushing your teeth in the morning and the afternoon. Great, put it on there, check it off. That completion is important. And then I'm going to lock in my day. So I'll click that. And now it's going to tell me, yes, I've locked in my day. I have 6 days straight of blocking in my day. That means that 7 days ago, I did not do this process. Totally okay, right? You're just measuring against yourself, right? So I think that was New Year's, and I did not get to it that day. That's not to say I didn't follow my protocol in other ways. So you'll notice that once you start building these habits, that even if you're not using the app, you're thinking about like, oh, how can I infuse love into this meal? Or I want to make sure I get those 5,650 steps. So I stay above that line. And you do, right? Even if you don't use the app. So I'm going to click Let's Go, which will let me start tracking. So I've just locked it in. You'll see my Soul Force score right now is 100. When you start, I think it starts at 80, maybe, I can't remember, 75, 80. Like you start at a certain level, you get your soul force is knocked down when you don't do something, and you don't complete your check-ins. And it goes up when you do. And it goes up when you not only lock it in, but that you complete them. So important distinction there. I'm going to ask you to take a snapshot of your soul force because we're going to just be kind of working together. At some point when the together button here on the bottom right is live, then we'll use that. But for now, we're going to have to create some of this stuff using the other social tools we have. Okay, so I'm going to go back in because it's 8:10. I get up at 6:30, 6:30, and I've already done my morning workout. So I'm going to go back to my Amazon warrior. A lot of what I do for myself energy-wise happens in the morning. So I did my sun salutation. Now, this is the different part. When you are completing a task, I usually actually kind of touch it in the middle of the line. And drag to the right. So I'm going to tap and swipe, and that shows that I completed the target for sun salutations. Sometimes when I'm recording like this, it's slow, like the app just runs a little bit slower. So I'll show you some of these, but it does run a little slower. So I did my steps. I actually already did 30 minutes of activity. Did I do my steps? Now that I swiped it. Yeah, I did. Okay. I can't do my last bite of food. That has been a really huge shift for me. The last bite of food, very important. I think for me, some of the big things that have really made a difference in my life are focusing on getting enough water, movement. I mean, the 5,650 steps, to me, that's movement, that I'm moving throughout the day. Last bite of food has been big. It helps me sleep better. It helps me process what I'm eating better. And so yeah, last bite of food. I took a walk already. I did my burpees. I can't do the digital sunset yet. I haven't meditated yet. I did my pull-ups. I did these vitamins, but I haven't taken my iron, so I'm not going to check that off. And then I'm going to go to the next one. Business leadership. I actually haven't done any of these yet, so I can't check those off. Queen, I don't think I've done anything yet. Actually, that's not true. I did a hug. So I will check that up. And I did my number one self-care exercise. I started my day with it. Perfect. All right, so that's it. And what I'll do is I'm actually not going to come back into this app until tonight. Usually like in an hour before bed. That way, if I haven't done something, I have time to complete it. You might think about doing it like in the morning, at the end of your workday, and at bedtime. But you got to find the routine that works for you. If you haven't yet done the greatest year ever, it's about an hour presentation. I very much encourage you to watch that. It explains a lot of what we're going to be going through this year. And see if you can find a plus one. Like here's today's. There's always going to be one in the app to participate in. So let's go ahead and look at that together. I can click on watching it. It's usually just like a 2 to 5 minute video. I often don't. I often just read. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and read that right now, and then I can go back and check it off. All right, cool message here about making choices and the choices that we make every day and how they impact us. So plus ones will always have a reference to other philosophers' notes that, which means other books. And And then there's an opportunity to see the prior day +1. And if you want to see more +1s, these little nuggets of wisdom, you can go to theory and then +1s, and then start, just kind of scrolling through to see what's available here. So there's an opportunity. I want to point out one last bit that we didn't talk about yesterday, and that is in the top left corner, you'll see wisdom. We're going to be learning about this compass of virtues, and these are really the 8 virtues that have been identified in historic philosophy, in religion, and then in modern day research to be the primary foundational virtues that we should all be working towards. And so this dial has wisdom, gratitude, love, curiosity, self-mastery, zest, courage, and hope. You may, when you took that virtue assessment, said, wow, one of my least strong virtues is courage, right? Maybe that was you're the last thing on your list, whatever, however that was. That's okay. Like, not a big deal, right? I mean, it's not that you're bad at courage. It's just that there are other virtues that you have that are stronger. We're working towards these, right? Thinking of ways every day that we can infuse wisdom, be grateful, show love and connection, be curious, master ourselves, live with zest, have courage and hope. Like, these are really important aspects. So cool thing about this is you can set a virtue that you might want to focus on for the day. So for instance, let's say I want to focus on zest. Then I turn the dial, just use my finger, turn the dial to zest. And now when I scroll up, there are tools and quotes that are related to zest. So I'm going to look at the quotes. Sleep is, after all, at the center of our overall vitality. When we sleep well, we feel better, and vice versa. We may be what we eat, but also, to be sure, we are how we sleep, by Ariana Huffington. So little nuggets, like, okay, I want to think about that. And there's more. And then there are tools that you can use to focus on that particular quality, and they're outlined here. So if I'm saying, gosh, I'm having a hard time with sleep, I might use the tool of eliminate distractions. It's going to teach me about eliminating distractions and how I can use that to sleep better. Okay. So just another little bit here. There's so much in this app. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. That's what I'm saying. Just first focus on one virtue per those big 3 identities and one target, and then we can always build on it. But if you want to explore, super fun too, you can do that. So now you'll see at the top, instead of saying wisdom in that top left corner, now it says zest. And that's going to be my focus for today, is having the energy I need for the day. If I want to go to practice, I'm actually going to go to my business leadership exemplar. I'm going to check off that I did 1 heroic +1. Check that off. And the 3-day streak on that, cool. And that's it. You'll also notice it's black instead of gray. So that's, just shows me which ones I've completed. All right, I hope you have found, I'm going to go back to, let's see, how do I stop share? Cool. I hope you found that helpful. I think the sun's come up just a little bit more than when we started. And I hope you have a great day. Let me know how it goes for you.